Good day, everyone. John from the Worship Portal here, and first things first. A huge thank you for 500 subscribers. It may not seem like that much in this day and age of million sub YouTubers, but for me, the fact that 500 of you have chosen to subscribe to me and get more of my tracks and more of my content is a big deal. I appreciate every single one of you that has enjoyed my content enough that you've chosen to subscribe. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, the button is right down there. So as a little bit of a celebration, I've decided to do what so many of you have asked for so far, and that is a studio tour. So this is it. This is where I record all of my tracks. Quick side note, I used to have a whole room in our home dedicated to my recording studio, but a couple of years ago my wife and I had our first child, so I was relegated to a corner of the bedroom. No big deal. So let's get into it, starting with the hardware that I use to record these tracks. The heart and soul of any studio is the computer. I'm running a 2016 MacBook Pro with a 2.9 gigahertz i7 processor, 16 gigabytes of memory, and 2 terabytes of flash storage. Another side note, I got a great story about how I got this MacBook Pro, but that's a story for another day. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear that. Spoiler, it only cost me $200. Along with the MacBook Pro, I use the Apple Wireless Trackpad and the Apple Wireless Keyboard. Big fan of the portability, and I'm a huge fan of the Apple Wireless Trackpad in particular. Less wrist movement, multi-touch gestures. If you haven't given it a go, try it, you'll probably love it. In my studio, I primarily use 2 microphones. For vocals, I use the Shure SM7B. Great clarity, amazing warmth, and it punches way above its weight in terms of price. It's only $400. You really can't beat it. For most other applications, I use the Shure SM81LC. This is great for anything from drum overheads to recording acoustic guitar. I especially love it for acoustic guitar because it really does pick up all of the nuances that you would hear when you're hearing a live acoustic guitar. Plus at only $349, it's a steal for this kind of quality. Okay, what's next? Audio interfaces. I have 2 that I use. In the studio, I use the M-Audio Mobile Pre. I don't think they sell this one anymore, but I love how sleek it is and the layout of the controls, much better than the new model, which is the one I use when I'm mobile. And this is the M-Audio M-Track 2x2 C-Series. It's basically the newer model of the interface I use in my studio. I use this primarily on the go because it has USB-C connectivity to my MacBook Pro, and seeing how my MacBook Pro only has USB-C ports, no dongle life for me. Much. My MIDI keyboard is the M-Audio KeyStation 61 Mark II. It's a great, inexpensive 61-key MIDI keyboard with playback controls and semi-weighted keys. I also have an 88-key stage piano with MIDI out downstairs, but that doesn't fit on my desk, so this is what I primarily use here in the studio. For studio monitors, I have the M-Audio BX5s. I love their small size, their punchy sound, and for $100 each, you really can't go wrong. And for headphones, I have the Sennheiser 280 HD Pros. Classic studio headphones. If you don't have a pair of these, reconsider it, especially for only $100. That about does it for hardware. Let's move on to software and plugins. My DAW of choice is Logic Pro Studio 10. This is for a few reasons. I love the simplicity, the ease of use, the integration with Mac OS X, and the fact that I got it for free when I worked it out. At $200, it's also way cheaper than all of the other pro level options. Now Logic comes with about 50 to 60 gigabytes of samples stock. They sound great, and I do use some of them in most of my tracks. But plugins are where you really start improving the quality of your music. The main plugin I use is Kontakt 5. This provides a huge array of sounds and instruments that I use in every single one of my songs. I especially like Grandeur Piano, Scarby Bass, Studio Drummer, and Session Strings. Really high quality stuff, definitely check it out. Each of the instruments that Kontakt 5 includes comes with an amazing array of customizations and options, and for the most part, they sound killer. For live guitars and bass, I use Line 6's Helix Native. There is no better option for an amp and effects modeler on the market today. It's top notch and so versatile, I literally can't believe how good it sounds. I also have a Helix LT for when I play live or jam with friends. Same great sounds and modeling in a sleek board with an expression pedal. Studio Drummer 3 is what I've been using recently for all of my drum tracks. The 3rd version came out earlier this year, and the control and quality that they provide are second to none, and it really helps me get as close to the original tracks as I can. Lastly, for the general effects I need to use on every track, I have the Chris Lord-Alge Signature Series from Waves. These give me great basic effects like reverb, delay, and compression that I use on all of my tracks and really helps me hone in on the sound that I'm looking for. Finally, I'd like to show you just a few of my guitars. I'm going to focus on my main 3 recording guitars today. If there's interest, I can show my entire collection and give you a more in-depth look, but I want to keep this video relatively short. My main acoustic is my 1976 Maton Coolabah. This is the guitar that my dad taught me on, and I'm very blessed to have it with me here in the States. It's got a warmth and tone that I've yet to hear on another acoustic, solid as a rock. I love this guitar. In terms of electrics, for my single coil sound, I have a 60th anniversary Fender Stratocaster with custom shop pickups. This guitar felt amazing from the first moment I picked it up and played it, and it was my first American Fender. From the rolled fretboard edges to the crystal cleans, this guitar can do almost anything. For my grittier tones, I have the Epiphone ES335 Pro. I absolutely love the classic look of this guitar with the cream binding and the block inlays. Build quality is top notch. I also installed some Portatron pickups in it that give it such a fat, meaty tone like no other guitar I've played. If you're in the market for pickups, definitely check Porter out. They've got some killer stuff. And finally, my amp. I use the Tyler PT14 as my number one. John and the guys at Tyler Amp Works make some of the highest quality amplifiers I've ever played. So that's my studio. That's how I make my tracks. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see any of this more in depth with demos or examples, I'd love to make some more videos about it. Just let me know in the comments below. Have a good one.